There are very few footballers in history who had the ability to become the greatest player on the planet. A player with the confidence of a superstar, the creativity of an artist, and the ability to make defenders look helpless. Neymar Jr. was supposed to be the next global icon of football, the player who would follow in the footsteps of legends like Pelé, Ronaldinho, Messi and Ronaldo. And for a while it looked like that prediction was going to become reality. He won trophies, he broke records, he produced moments that football fans will never forget. But there has always been one question surrounding Neymar's career. What if? What if injuries never happened? What if Neymar had stayed fit during his prime years? What if we had seen the absolute best version of one of the most naturally gifted footballers ever? Because Neymar's story is not about a player who failed, far from it. It's about a player who achieved almost everything, but still left millions wondering what could have been. This is the story of Neymar Jr. Neymar's journey started in Mogi das Cruzes, Brazil. Like many Brazilian legends before him, football was everything. From a young age, Neymar's talent was obvious. While other kids played football, Neymar controlled games. His incredible close control, quick feet and imagination separated him from everyone else. But his style wasn't developed only on big pitches. Growing up, Neymar spent years playing futsal. The smaller spaces forced him to make decisions quicker, to beat opponents in tight areas, to create magic where there seemed to be no room. And those skills would later become his trademark. At just 11 years old, Neymar joined the Santos Academy, the same club where Brazilian legend Pelé became a superstar. Immediately, people inside the club knew they had something special. This wasn't just another talented youngster, this was someone different. By 17 years old, Neymar was playing professional football, and almost instantly, Brazil fell in love. The tricks, the confidence, the goals. Neymar played football with a freedom that reminded people of Ronaldinho. He wasn't just effective, he was entertaining. And in Brazil, where football is part of the culture, that made him a national sensation. At Santos, Neymar quickly became one of the most exciting players in world football. Defenders knew exactly what he wanted to do. They knew he would try to cut inside. They knew he would attempt a skill. They knew he would attack them one-on-one. But knowing what Neymar would do didn't make stopping him any easier. His acceleration was frightening, his dribbling was unpredictable, and his confidence was unmatched. In 2011, Neymar produced one of the greatest individual goals of his career. Against Flamengo, he picked up the ball inside the box, dribbled past multiple defenders, and finished calmly. The goal was so incredible that it won the FIFA Puskas Award. And it showed the world that Neymar was not just a Brazilian prospect anymore, he was a global superstar. That same year, he helped Santos win the Copa Libertadores, the legendary competition that Pelé had won with Santos decades earlier. Suddenly, the comparisons became unavoidable. Could Neymar become Brazil's next football king? Every major club in Europe wanted him. Barcelona, Real Madrid, Chelsea, Manchester City. Everyone wanted the teenager who looked destined for greatness. But Neymar had one goal: to follow his own path. In 2013, Neymar finally made the move to Europe. He joined Barcelona. And immediately, the pressure was enormous. He wasn't just joining a big club, he was joining a team containing Lionel Messi. Many questioned whether Neymar could handle playing alongside the greatest player of his generation. Would he become just another player in Messi's team? Instead, he became something much more. At first, Neymar had to adapt. European football was faster, defenders were stronger, the pressure was higher. But slowly, the Brazilian started showing his true level. And when Luis Suarez arrived in 2014, something special was created. The MSN trio. Messi, Suarez, Neymar. Together, they became one of the greatest attacking partnerships football had ever seen. They destroyed teams, they scored unbelievable goals, and they played football with a level of chemistry that was almost impossible to stop. The 2014-15 season was Neymar's breakthrough. He scored 39 goals in all competitions. He helped Barcelona win the Champions League, La Liga, and Copa del Rey. At just 23 years old, Neymar had already achieved what many players dream of their entire careers. But many believed this was only the beginning. because Neymar was no longer just a talented winger. He was becoming a complete footballer, a scorer, a creator, a leader. However, Neymar carried a responsibility that few players ever experience: the hopes of an entire nation. Brazil expected Neymar to bring back the glory days, and in the 2014 World Cup, the pressure was enormous. Brazil were hosting the tournament. The whole country believed they could win, and Neymar was their biggest hope. He delivered. He scored important goals. He carried the attack, but in the quarter-final against Colombia, everything changed. A challenge from Juan Camilo Zúñiga left Neymar with a serious back injury. His World Cup was over, and without their superstar, Brazil collapsed. Just days later, they suffered one of the most humiliating defeats in football history, losing 7-1 to Germany. For Brazilian fans, Neymar represented their dream, and suddenly that dream disappeared. After recovering, Neymar returned better than ever. The 2015-16 and 2016-17 seasons showed the world just how good he really was. He wasn't just entertaining anymore, he was dominating. One of his greatest moments came in 2017 against Paris Saint-Germain. Barcelona had lost the first leg of their Champions League tie 4-0. Almost everyone believed they were eliminated. But in the second leg, Neymar produced one of the greatest individual performances in Champions League history. 2 goals, an assist, and a late free kick that helped Barcelona complete the impossible comeback. That night showed why so many believed Neymar had the ability to become the best player in the world. But then came the decision that changed everything. In 2017, Neymar shocked football. Paris Saint-Germain paid €222 million for him, the biggest transfer fee in football history. The message was clear: Neymar didn't want to live in Messi's shadow. He wanted to become the main man, the face of football. And at PSG, there were moments where he looked exactly like that player. He scored incredible goals. He created unbelievable moments. He carried PSG through important games. In 2020, he helped PSG reach their first ever Champions League final. But there was one problem. He couldn't stay on the pitch. The biggest opponent Neymar ever faced wasn't a defender. It was his own body. Injuries started taking away the moments when he could have reached another level. A serious foot injury in 2018 ruled him out during PSG's Champions League campaign. Another injury followed in 2019, then ankle problems, then more setbacks. Every time Neymar looked ready to dominate football, something happened. And the timing was brutal. Because these weren't injuries during the early years of his career, they came during his prime. The exact years when Messi and Ronaldo were competing for Ballon d'Ors. The exact years when Neymar could have entered that conversation. It wasn't that Neymar lacked talent, it was that he lacked consistency. For Brazil, the biggest dream was always the World Cup. And once again, Neymar carried that pressure. In 2022, Brazil entered the tournament as one of the favourites. Neymar scored in the knockout stages, but after another ankle injury, Brazil were eventually eliminated by Croatia. Another World Cup dream was gone. And for Neymar, the biggest trophy in football remained out of reach. So how should we remember Neymar? Because the truth is complicated. On one hand, his career has been incredible. A Champions League winner, a Copa Libertadores winner, Brazil's all-time leading goal scorer, one of the greatest entertainers football has ever seen. He scored hundreds of goals, created countless memories, and made millions of people fall in love with football. But on the other hand, there is always that question. Could he have been more? Could he have challenged Messi and Ronaldo for the title of the greatest player in the world? Could he have won a Ballon d'Or? Could he have gone down as one of the top 5 players in football history? We will never know. Because Neymar's biggest enemy was not talent. He had more than enough of that. It was injuries. They took away seasons. They took away opportunities. They took away the chance to see just how high Neymar could climb. Neymar wasn't a failure. He was one of the greatest footballers of his generation. A player who combined skill, creativity, and confidence like very few before him. But football history is full of incredible players. The difference between being a legend and being remembered as one of the greatest ever often comes down to moments. And Neymar simply didn't get enough of them, because the question will never be, was Neymar good? We already know the answer. The question is, how good could Neymar have really been? And that is why Neymar will always be football's greatest what if. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe and check out one of the videos on screen now. Thanks for watching.